My volume good for you? Unmute your microphone. Unmute. Good morning, everyone. Hello and welcome to Mogul Talk. This is Charity Smith, Ms. Mogul. I have in the studio with me today a phenomenal guest. You all may remember her from another segment I did called Power Talk, where we're going to elevate the conversation again today. And I had to have her back and just continue the dialogue. But before we get into our interview, we want to make sure that you all know that you can subscribe to the show. Make sure you go to You Can Create Your Own Economy. Subscribe to the website. You'll get biographies of all of our guests. You'll find out the webinars, the events, the trainings, the conferences, the summits, everything that's happening around business, economy, and leadership, you will find there. So make sure you go and subscribe there. Also, we ask that you join our fan page. The fan page on Facebook is Master Your Morning with Ms. Mogul. Make sure that you go there, leave some comments about the show, what you like, what your takeaways are, and make sure that you connect with our guests there as well. So without further ado, we only have 30 minutes today, and I know this leader has so much that she wants to share with us today. So I'm just going to jump right into it. You all will know her from another segment, but she really is a profound leader in the marketplace. She is the one and only Miss Eva Medilek. And let me give you a little bit about Eva, as if you don't already know. Eva is an executive certified performance coach, international speaker, and author. She has coached men and women in the areas of professional development, leadership, and mastering the habits for success in their personal and professional lives. Love that. She specializes in helping busy professionals make more money, have more time, and success without sacrificing health, well-being, and relationships in the process. So without further ado, if you don't know, now you know. This is a leader we really need. We need the recipe. we need the magic. Where is it? Eva certainly has it. So again, Eva, thank you for being a guest on the show one more time. I appreciate you being with me this morning. And it's early where you are.
I know. We are about, 8 o'clock in the morning here. But no, I just get so excited every time you and I get a chance to talk, and we can talk for hours.
Yes.
Let's see what we can do in 30 minutes, because you and I can just get going.
But that's how you know the chemistry, the synergy, the agreement is there. And that's something I appreciated from the instant we had our first conversation. I knew you were a person that I wanted to get to know better. And there was this mutual exchange of respect and love and ideas and fun and all of that. And I appreciate that. You don't find that every day. So thank you for that.
Of course.
I want to talk to you today about leadership, and more so about transformational leadership. You are, again, renowned literally around the world. You've helped 7, 8-figure earners master success at a high level. And so certainly you know something about synergy and growth and scale and business and people and leadership and relationships. And your personal story is a really intriguing one as well. So I invite people to dive into your blog and really get to know the story behind the success of Miss Eva. So that's a caveat to another conversation and maybe another show. But we want to talk about transformational leadership today, Eva, because so much is happening. And I know it's overstated and overstated and overstated, but there's a lot going on. And so now leaders are grappling with what's next for me. How do I turn all of this, right? Maybe I've achieved success at this level, but now I'm feeling like I may be stuck. Or how do I take my team, my organization to the next level? I want you to, first of all, define for us what you believe transformational leadership is. How do we start to employ it after we figure out what it is?
Well, I believe, first of all, that females, us women, are the leaders in transformational leadership, because, we want to really have a movement, not a moment.
But see, you just said something there, Eva. You said we women. are the transformational leaders, and I'm going to throw this in here, of the 21st century and beyond. Some people, men and women, may grapple with the statement. Why do you feel that way?
You know, women, especially women of color,
Okay, come on.
have an, a skill in our DNA because we have had to develop this emotional resilience,
Yes,
and endurance that is just unique based on our experiences, how we've held up our families, our communities, our men through 400 plus years of being minoritized and enslaved. And I say that intentionally because we have been called to a higher level of leadership. We are coming out. I just think of, you know, I was telling you earlier how I bounce on my trampoline to the oldies, but Diana Ross came on the other day, I'm coming out. And I just had this vision of us. All right, let us take care. We got this. We got this. We can do this, and we can do it with the skill and the strength, with the compassion and the grace that is just unique to who we are. It doesn't make us better than anybody else. It's just a unique skill based on what our ancestors and our generations have had to develop before us. And it just is what it is. And so we get to use it in a way that supports everyone else's growth, transformation, endurance, so that it's not a moment, it's a movement, and it's sustainable. The key word here is sustainable. We've sustained our families, we've sustained our homes, we've sustained our dignity and our integrity for a long time. And now we get to share the gift of how we do that to the world. We get to be generous in not just having it for ourselves and our families.
Wow.
To really show other people, let me show you how it's done.
So I don't know if but yeah, you are aware. You just unpacked a whole A-bomb. You just, boom. How about that? Good morning, everybody. But let's go and unpack that, because this kind of takes the conversation in a different area, but evidently an important and a timely, it's needed. Let's just say that. And I love how you can kind of keep your hand on the pulse of what's going on and kind of intuitively and spiritually feel where we need to take the conversation. So let's go there, since you opened the door. You bring up the point of women of color having a unique set of circumstances that have prepared us, I believe, for what society is calling chaos. We kind of just know. And again, it's been a grace and a skill that's been developed over a period of years and generations. I would say we've learned this from our mothers, our grandmothers, our community aunties, our mentors, how to balance life and tragedy and loss and winning and wealth and leadership and heartbreak and nurturing families, nurturing businesses, nurturing ourselves simultaneously. And so while others may be grappling with, oh God, what do I do now? Could it be that this is a unique opportunity for a unique leader to now come to the stage? Could it be? Come on. Could it be that this is the opportunity that we as women of color in the diaspora, and here particularly in the United States, what we've been waiting for? I have a saying, Eva, and I knew this was going to happen, and we're going to have to do something. We're going to have to do a part two. I can already tell. But I have a saying, Eva, where I say, we burn the corporate ladder to build bridges. That's what I believe. And so many, and I believe that's really what transformational leadership is right now. It's burning the corporate ladder. That's not our MO. The shirts, the tie, all of that stuff is great, but the mentality that goes with that, it's obsolete now. I believe, based upon what you just said, today's leader is one that's multidimensional, multifaceted, multi-talented, multilingual, and I mean they can speak the head and the heart simultaneously.
Yes.
It's also a leader who is empathetic without being pathetic. And here's what I mean by that. Sometimes I think we can veer too far to the heart part and we don't get the performance part done. And that's what I love about what you do. You have this unique ability to be able to bring the head and the heart into agreement so that the performance part happens. And I think this environment now creates a unique ecosystem, Eva, where women who are, again, multi-talented, multifaceted, multidimensional, but are looking for the balance. And we don't want to leave men out because certainly there's a place in the market for them as well. But let's just be honest. I believe this, and they're needed. Let me just say that before I get all the brothers, because sometimes y'all blow up my little shows talking about.
We need our powerful brothers and our powerful sisters, and
we need everybody.
It's all hands on deck. It's all hands on deck.
That part. It is all hands on deck. But I love how you boldly articulate, while it is all hands on deck, there is a time and a season that meets the profile of the transformational leader. And we're finding out now that leadership can look just like this and be excellent and dimensional and what the moment calls for. It's what the moment calls for. So how in the world do we now employ all of this goodness? Now that we've kind of figured out we've been doing it all the time, how do we take our skill sets, our talents, and our gifts, Eva, and now create a culture, though, that is high performance, that is multidimensional, that is transformational? How do we create the culture from the inside out?
Well, what's interesting about that is that I believe we all as humans are being called to a higher version of ourselves. And, for me, it was, I can't go on doing business as usual. Yes. I want to have a greater impact and influence to make a difference. And we're all being called to that. And that's why I say it is our superpower. We've had it in us the whole time. Now, how do we get it out there? Because a lot of people there, could be like, well, I don't know what I can do. I'm just doing this and I'm just doing that. And so the first step is really our inner awareness to be, when we are stepping into courageous, bold action and leadership, we get to be aware of what we fear. And there usually are 3 particular pain points that we fear. We fear loss pain, which is, what am I going to lose? What friends am I going to lose? How are things going to be different? When I start speaking up boldly my truth, what's going to change? Can I handle it? We also fear process pain. What if the process of stepping up boldly, using my voice, being seen and heard, what if it's too difficult and I can't do it and I don't have the skill set? Or what if I do all of this work and nothing changes? So we fear that outcome pain. And so once we get a handle on what our fears are, we can employ the skill sets to move beyond it. Because I always say, if you impact one life and that life impacts 2 lives and those 2 lives impact 2, there is a ripple effect. So never underestimate, but be aware of the fear that holds you back, because a lot of times, and I'm not saying our fear is invalid, but fear is our friend.
You said that before.
Fear is our friend, and it's our just nervous little friend that wants to keep us safe. It's like, some of us had parents who would just, don't go out the street, don't do that, you're going to get hurt. And that's exactly the little fear that it loves you so much, it just doesn't want you to get hurt. But as we know through our history and our generations, it's our scars that make us stronger and give us that resilience and endurance that we wouldn't have if our skin was soft. We had to build calluses. We had to build those calluses. So once we get the internal knowing of ourselves and what we fear, we can now step into greater influence and impact in our conversations. And
Could
so,
you give us those three impact points again, though, because I think they're really pivotal. Go through those 3 points again. What are they?
oh, the awareness of what we fear is we fear loss pain,
Mm-hmm.
we fear process pain, and we fear outcome pain.
Process, loss, and outcome. So this is what I'm hearing you say. The transformational leader now is a person who's already dealt with or is dealing with that, to move to a better version or a higher version of service.
Move to that
Right?
next level, because
Move to
we
the
will
next
hold
level.
ourselves back because of fear. If you've
That's
built
good.
a following, I see it in a lot of the leadership, especially in the white and white presenting leadership. All of a sudden, you're faced with the realization of systemic racism in a way you've never faced it before.
Mm-hmm.
Do you say something? What if clients leave? You see the great divide in this country. Well, I don't want to lose money. I don't want to lose sponsors. I don't want to lose, all of that. When we speak up, you see this cancel culture is looming large.
It is real.
In a leadership position,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? Let's be real. It's in the back of your mind. If I speak up, what's going to happen? If I share what's on my heart, what if I make a mistake? The fear of making a mistake is large anyway,
Yeah,
because we
for
all want
sure.
to look and present to the world a certain way. But when you're in the transformational leadership space, you've got to be willing to trip and get
Mm.
up and say, thank you for pointing that out to me. I didn't see that rock there, and I stepped all over it. And so I'll know to go around it next time, or deal with it, or pick it up and throw it out of the way. My point in sharing that with you is leadership is being called to a new level. And a new level, there's a new devil. You know that.
Come on, take us to church.
And it's not business as usual. It is not business
That
as usual.
that that's the bullseye.
Yeah.
That's the point right there. You
Mm-hmm.
said something, and I want to go back and revisit it. How transformational leadership is about being willing to trip because of the cancel culture. People are afraid to be transformational, to be real, to be authentic, to be just, to do the right thing because it may cost. That's really what transformational leadership is, though. It's about counting the cost of that leadership. And it's now moving out of just the profitability sector into now, what's the world view in business?
Mm-hmm.
What's the world view in
What's your
leadership?
stand? What's your stand? Are you courageous
Yeah.
and bold enough to put a stake in the ground? And this is
Wow.
where my stand. And the first thing I will say to this new level, new devil of leadership is you've got to listen. You've got
Yeah.
to listen to hear, listen to understand, and
Yeah.
not listen to defend the old paradigm. Because we are in a paradigm shift. You're not going to defend it. You're not going to excuse it. You're going to listen, see what lands, see what comes up for you, because transformational leadership starts in here. You can't go
Ooh,
out and transform the world until you're working on transforming yourself.
come
And like
on.
I said, you thought you had it all together, and then this hit the fan. COVID, isolation,
Yes.
racial unrest and injustice, and a
Yes.
real 2x4 to the head of what systemic racism looks like and how is it showing up in your life, your business, and your culture. Where is the cultural diversity in your personal life? Where is it in your professional life? Where is it in the world? And what could you do to make a change, to make a difference, to have an influence? And what are you willing to risk?
That. So transformational leadership sounds like it's about now, what I call a come to Jesus meeting. For don't get caught up on it, but it's really about a come to Jesus meeting.
Yeah.
It's about now, what are your ethics? What's your culture? What do you stand for? That whole thing about core values and who moved my cheese and all of that stuff that we used to talk about back in the day about core values. But transformational leadership now is walking us through the character of those values now, living out the character of those values in a way that, yes, is profitable, but has a bigger impact. You kept talking about impact and about how leadership calls us to a higher level. Transformational leadership now is about excavating those core values now. And here is what I know to be true about transformational leadership. It's not dismissive of who you are. It is fully embracing you. Transformational leadership puts you front and center about what you believe about people, success, business, justice, social causes, the care, the value of your employees, your stakeholders. All of that comes into play when you're a transformational leader.
And I'm going to add to that.
Come on.
You may not like some of the parts of you that are going to be unfolded as you are transforming. And I want to just tell everybody, good. That's okay. Lean into that discomfort, because I'll share something personally about me that has been uncovered. We have all been affected and guilty of perpetrating systemic racism, regardless of your color. We all, if you grew up in the United States, you grew up in a systemic racist system. What I realized about myself was how I was protecting white fragility in a way that was part of the culture I grew up in. My dad grew up in Jim Crow South. You don't make white people angry or upset because it could kill you. So that gets woven into your DNA. Don't say anything, let it go. And you know, girl, you've been out and you've witnessed subconscious biases perpetrated against you. And you know what? We're so weary that we just didn't say anything, let it go, move it past, suck our teeth, shake our heads, move on. And that was us in a way. And this is how it came to light for me. That's actually protecting white fragility. Because now we are empowered to say something, and that's where we get to step up our leadership as people of color in transformation, not in a way that shame, blames, and guilts, because we both are holding 100% responsibility for who we are being in this conversation. But how do we have a conversation that opens up perspective? How do we become an influencer? And there are three really main traits that the world's greatest influencers have.
Give them to us.
Okay. Well, they actually teach us how to think is number one. Not what to think, but how to approach thinking about things.
That's
and
good.
You can inspire someone to think about situations, conversations,
that's good,
and ideals in a way that is contrary to the patterns and beliefs and behaviors they grew up in, and having them to look at a different perspective. That is the first step. It's not about agreeing or disagreeing. It's just like, let me have a think on that. That's where listening comes in. They actually, they teach us how to think. They actually challenge us. Challenge is a different way. They challenge you to look at a different perspective. They challenge you to grow yourself in a way that stretches you. No, as a leader, we love to be stretched. We love to reach a little higher and accomplish that. And we're going up that ladder and that bridge. I heard you.
Sure.
One step at a time.
Yes.
Without trying to leap over everybody else, but really also helping other people up along the way. So that is the challenge. The challenge is to look at things from a different perspective.
That's good.
And then the pièce de résistance is the role modeling. The role modeling. You're not going to believe the message if you don't believe the messenger. If we're saying one thing and doing something else, we got to walk the talk and be transparent. Because listen, as a leader, nobody's going to follow me if I look so perfect that that's just the standard that they just can't reach. When I fall, I'm going to share that fall with you and what I learned and the bruises and the bumps I got on the way. And here's what I'll do to be better next time. And, you know, that's why I'm not 100% about the cancel culture. I'm about, you know what? Let's have a talk about this. What did you learn? But everybody's
That's
so
good.
quick to write everybody off and
That's
shame,
true.
blame, and guilt. And that's why our leaders are staying silent. Because
Mm.
what if you mess up? Well, let's mess up and learn from it. Let's fail forward and
But
grow.
you bring up something, and of course, we're down to 5 minutes.
Oh, Lord,
But
I told you.
no shock there. But you bring up something that I think should be maybe the 2.0 of our conversation. It's about creating a culture that allows you to learn and allows you to fail. And we have to stop looking at failure as win, lose, and look at it from we learn.
Mm-hmm.
So much of our culture has been, if you make one mistake and if you trip, not only are you written off, but we now attack your business's integrity. We attack your brand. We attack your earnings potential. All of that because of human frailty.
Mm-hmm.
So if we now, as transformational leaders, can have these ecosystems in our environments where we encourage people to learn, to have the honest dialogue. If you really want to know what I'm thinking as a leader, then come ask me. But then don't get offended when the question comes in, I have no clue about what you're doing. What you're doing doesn't make sense to me, so why should I follow you? So as a leader, don't get offended at that, but have an answer. Make it a teaching moment. But we're
Mm-hmm.
so afraid to let go of the perfection that none of us will ever attain that we don't give each other the opportunity to learn and grow and evolve. So oh my God, in 3 minutes, Eva, I know, absurd, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely absurd, but I'm going to ask you, 3 minutes, how do we now bring this all in? What are the steps to creating a high performance culture as a transformational leader? What are the steps I need to take to transform my organization as a transformational leader into a high performance? And I'm not just talking about meeting the goals,
Mm-hmm.
but the higher standard of leadership. How do I transform?
I would say the number one thing that I can share in 1 minute is to learn how to listen. And when you listen, restate what you heard. Don't give an opinion. Don't react.
Ooh, that's hard. That's
But
hard.
let me just understand what I heard you say,
Yeah.
and then ask what needs to happen next. You've got to be open to learning and listening without learning to react, defend, explain away. And that's how you open up a dialogue. It's about having the tough conversations, but creating a safe space to have the tough conversations. So you listen, you paraphrase. So if I'm hearing you correctly, you are saying that X, Y, and just say it without, I agree. Yeah, girl, that's right. No way, I don't. But just restate and then ask, what do you think needs to happen? So that, what kind of result would you like to see and that's how you start a dialogue, because people actually want to feel listened to, heard, and respected. And when you can create a culture within your organization that your team members, your family members, if it's at home, feel seen, heard, and respected, that opens up the pathway for compassion, understanding, and transformation. So that people, I like to say it this way: you cannot plant a seed in hard, frozen, rocky soil. You got to prepare the soil first so that whatever seed you want to plant has a chance to germinate and grow. And that means preparing the soil. So listen.
That's all we have time for. That's the best way to end the segment. My God, yeah, a 2.0 has to happen because now we're going to get into the culture of that. But tell our listeners, how can they find you besides contacting us? How can they get in contact with you, Eva?
They can go to talkwitheva.com.
Well, that's easy enough.
Can't make it any simpler. Talkwitheva.com. And my, if they want to learn more about me, my website is evamedilek.com. I just keep it simple.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
You keep it simple, but let me tell you, you are such a profound leader. As always, you've given us your heart, you've given us treasure, you've given us strategy, you've given us insight, you've given us practical tools we can employ right now. If we take nothing away from this segment, in order to be a transformational leader, you have to listen, and then you have to model. What is it you want to see in your culture? It doesn't happen by osmosis. If you want to see it, you have to be it. And that's all we have time for this week. Thank you, Eva. Thank you for waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning to speak with me and to share this time. You all, this has been Mogul Talk with Miss Mogul. My name is Charity Smith. I am Miss Mogul. Make sure you always subscribe to this show at youcancreateyourown.economy.com and join the dialogue on our Facebook page, our fan page at Master Your Morning with Miss Mogul. We're fresh out of time, not out of content. I promise you I'll have her back. Thank you all for joining. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.